Welcome back to another episode of Boxing Talk with Brian Mendoza. I'm Andrew Bocanegra. We're going to do some recaps on the fights this weekend in San Antonio. Jesus Ramos, Shane Mosley. Talk about a battle.
Yeah, that was a great fight. Yeah, very action-packed.
Would you say that was, to me, fight of the night?
Yeah, between them and the Roach fight. But yeah, the fact that both of them, like Mosley, he showed a great chin and durability. He was in great condition. So every time Ramos was really building that downhill momentum on him, Mosley was able to bite down, get his own shots in there, and make it a very great fight. So honestly, yeah, maybe I might give that one the fight of the night.
So does Mosley have a chin, like a real chin, or was Ramos just still adjusting to this, to the bigger weight?
A little mix of both of them, but I think he showed a solid chin, and the fact that even when he did get buzzed a couple times, he was able to bite down and fight through that. That shows his conditioning and his heart as well, which plays into the chin, because sometimes you can just get clipped a little bit and people will freak out and panic, but he stayed calm under pressure and was able to show that grit to keep fighting. So I definitely think he's got a chin.
Mosley was winning early rounds, right? He was winning the early rounds. At what point did it start to change? Do you feel, or do you feel that Ramos just started adjusting and getting more comfortable?
Yeah, I think it's just Ramos's, because that's more of his style. He's not like a one shot get you out of there type of guy. He's that Mexican pressure, body work, break you down as the fight goes. So that's what I'm sure he was looking to do anyway. And yeah, but like I said, Mosley was in great condition, so he was able to really fight it out and even have some success in the later rounds. But yeah, it was just more Ramos's type of fight, where he's just gonna chip away at you until he breaks you down later. Ramos's
legs started to buckle in the early rounds. He got caught by Mosley, fourth, fifth round. I can't remember exactly what round, but what could Mosley have done to capitalize on Ramos at that point?
It's hard to say, because I think he did a lot of things right. It was just more about maybe the punch selection, picking the right shots, and just being able to set it back up. Because when he hurt Ramos, he kind of jumped on him almost a little too overexcited, which can always which can work against you. So maybe just stay a little bit calmer in that moment, even though you finally got your guy hurt. But go back to the body, set the shot back up. So I guess just more setups, because I do think he did a lot right. It's just Ramos is a really tough competitor.
Shane had that lateral movement early on, right, and it was working for him.
Yeah,
and it seemed to taper off in the later rounds. Should he have kept up with that lateral movement or that head movement? I mean, he was getting caught with a lot of punches.
Yeah.
He probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, I think in a perfect world, yes, that's for him, he should have stuck to that. But I think that's just a testament to Ramos's fight as in breaking Mosley down. That Mosley wasn't. He was in good shape, but it's still after going through that war, the body work and just the constant pressure. So maybe he didn't feel comfortable enough to keep that lateral movement going, and that's just like I said, a testament to Ramos's pressure.
Was Mosley hurt at any point? I didn't see that he. I mean, he took every punch.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I didn't think Mosley had a chin like that.
Right.
Right. And he was just bouncing back, and he was answering back immediately to almost everything.
Yeah.
Ramos was throwing at him.
Yeah, I did see him get buzzed a couple times. He just kind of stepped a little funny, but like I said, he showed heart and grit, which is a factor of having a chin, because like I said, some people can't fight through those moments. They'll freak out and then just get taken out with the next big shot. But he was able to bite down and even hide it to some extent, because he was just swinging right back and fighting through it. So props to Mosley for that, but he definitely had to fight through some tough moments in that.
What could
fight.
he have done different? Like what? I mean, should he have changed his game plan up in the later rounds? What could he have done? What would you have done if you were in his shoes?
Yeah, I think it's tough to say in that fight, just because there was so much back and forth. Maybe some shots hurt him a little more that were the reason he broke down a little bit later in the second half. But just like I said, more jabs and he was having success with the lateral movement. Just keep it going. So I think with him it was more of, can you just keep the same things going and try to maybe a little bit better defense, with some of the body work, some of the pressure, and being able to slow down to Ramos's work, the way that Lubin was able to slow it down in their fight.
Yes. So Shane, do you think what does he do at this point? right? Because he's in the game. If you ask me,
Yeah.
I thought that was a close fight. I thought that was a closer fight than than the judges scored it.
Yeah, it was one of those fights where the scorecards didn't truly reflect because Mosley was definitely a lot more in the fight than the scorecard said, but I think he's definitely still a factor in the division, and this is one of those fights where his stock kind of raises because you're not the only one that was
Yes.
surprised by certain things. His chin, his determination to fight through those tough moments and everything, and to just really show his heart and what he has at that level. That was for the WBC interim.
Yes.
and he showed that he does belong. So I think this is one of those fights where he lost and it's a tough pill to swallow, but his stock raised for sure.
Erislandy Lara, Johan Gonzalez, right? Boring, not boring. A great technical,
Yeah.
right, fight. What's your feedback?
Yeah, I think it was, just Lara, showing his level. He's like, I have a guy in here that came in last minute. I don't need to put myself in any type of danger. Like, I'm gonna still try to hurt. Lara, like, I give him props, for being someone, older at his stage in his career. He was
42 years
throwing,
old.
Exactly, yeah. He was still throwing power shots, through the whole 12. So, like at a certain point, do we give him credit because he wasn't just trying to like run, even though he might not have the same legs he used to, but he was still putting power shots. He put his opponent down in the 12.
Yeah, at the end, that was exciting end.
Yeah, yeah.
Following the booze for the last three, the three prior rounds.
Yeah, so it's a give and take. How much do we expect from Lara at that stage? But and it's the question stands is would he have exerted himself more being in there with Janibek, his original
Yes.
opponent?
Yes.
I feel like at this level, maybe he just didn't wake up. He didn't feel the challenge, so he didn't wake up as much. So there's a lot of questions to be answered, and I think in Lara's next fight, if they can make it for unification or something like that, we'll see if when he's tested, he'll step up to the plate more.
What could Johan Gonzalez? What could he have done different? Where was he? What was he lacking?
I don't know if that's a skill issue in this fight. I don't know.
Definitely not the IQ.
Yeah,
that Lara has.
Yeah, exactly. It's I just don't know if he's at that level like that yet, especially coming such late notice against a legend, like Lara. So it's just maybe have more time to come up with some kind of game plan. There's a lot, we couldn't ask.
How
too
much
much
notice was that? It was a couple weeks notice, right?
I've heard mixed. I've heard he picked it up on Tuesday of fight week. Yeah, like 5-6 days. So I think they were just telling him to maybe get ready and as a backup. But yeah, they didn't confirm it until fight week. So definitely, regardless, super late, and it's you definitely have to be a lot more locked in when you're fighting someone at that level of that caliber.
Tell me, Lara, like, where do you think? I mean, can he continue to go at this age? I mean,
He's making it happen.
I mean, it's unheard of.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, yeah, you got guys that are coming back later on, but what was that? It's like his 15th defense?
Yeah.
Title defense?
Yeah, he's just doing crazy things at this stage of his career. And like I said, I still want to see him in there with someone of also higher caliber because that's where we're going to see if when the hunger's there, if he's going to step up. Because, yeah, maybe he didn't look that great against Gonzalez, but he won and he's happy with it. He doesn't feel like he needed to exert, more energy or things like that, or like impress anybody basically. So I think when he's in there with the big name, someone that's really going to challenge him, I think he's going to rise to the occasion, and that's something I'm excited to see if he does that.
You think he felt some pressure from the booing in the crowd? Because there just wasn't the activity that people want to see, right? It was a rough crowd.
Yeah.
San Antonio always brings a rough crowd. They want to see action.
Exactly.
Right? And that didn't happen in that fight. I mean, there was little spurts here and there, but
yeah, exactly, those moments. But man, like, when you're at the age of someone like Lara, I believe he's 42, and the level of fights he's been through, I don't think he cares about impressing a crowd. If he's like, hey, like, you guys got your action with Pitbull and with Ramos and Mosley, so he's like, you guys got your action, I'm here to get a win. They changed my opponent last minute. I think just because of the situation, he wasn't too pressed on it.
Great. Always good information, Brian. We appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Boxing VIP Network. You can also follow us at boxingvip.com. Brian, once again, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Appreciate you.